now appears if she wants to run for supervisor again, it will have to be as a write-in.
Is Tiffany Henyard planning anything big for the future? Despite challenges to her political ambitions, she may return as the perfect supervisor, according to rumors. But is this a last-ditch attempt or a purposeful return to power? Keep checking back as we uncover the political unrest in Dolton.
Well, there is more high drama in the village of Dolton tonight, where embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard is.
As volatile Mayor Tiffany Henyard takes center stage once again tonight, Dolton is seeing a high-stakes drama. Because of the increasing tensions and challenges, she is the focus of attention. Is this the tipping moment for Henyard? Or is she planning anything else? Watch out. Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard has become well known, but not for the reasons she would have liked. An unmanageable drama revolves around her leadership. Henyard's minor transgressions and power conflicts have shook Thornton Township. Does she just manipulate the political system, or does this chaos have a deeper meaning? See the shocking details that have everyone talking and the possible consequences for her for turning local politics into a show. No one foresaw this situation, yet here we are. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date and never miss a moment of the action. Here, disagreements arise, rivalries flare, and reality hits harder than ever. Would you be ready to rumble? Let's analyze everything together right here. When Tiffany Henyard first entered politics, many people saw her as a welcome change. The suburban municipality of Dolton, just outside of Chicago, has long been plagued by governmental corruption and ineptitude. A leader who would question the existing quo and bring about significant change was what people were searching for. Henyard seemed to be the answer, but many were taken aback by the way her leadership would evolve. Her rise was marked by aggressive tactics that targeted not just the status quo, but also everyone who tried to stand in her way. Her boldness was seen by some as a sign of strength, and by others as a clear sign of instability. What started out as an advancement-focused campaign quickly devolved into a whirlpool of personal conflicts and minor rivalries that would define her time in office. Was Henyard really ready to take over, or did she have another idea? Let's take a closer look at the events that preceded this political conflict. What are your thoughts on Henyard's rise to prominence? Was she meant to cause controversy, or was the circumstance forcing her into conflict? Kindly provide your thoughts in the space provided for comments below. At the beginning of Henyard's tenure, there was a lot of optimism. She portrayed herself as an outsider who was not afraid to challenge conventional wisdom. But cracks were immediately apparent. Soon, there were rumors of internal conflict in her own administration. It seemed that many people disapproved of Henyard's leadership style, and she was not exactly winning respect in the political arena. Henyard quickly found herself in private discussions and at council meetings, at odds with many key figures in Dolton's local government. This was more than simply a policy disagreement. It was a personal one. Henyard apparently had a tendency to argue with everyone who didn't agree with her. Moreover, the fights often became public events. Political opponents and even members of her own team were thrown into the conflict, adding to the already heated situation. With time, the initial hope that Henyard may change Dolton began to fade. Instead, others started to question whether her strategy was too divisive to be effective. Was she being held captive by Dolton's personal issues, or was it all part of a larger plan to consolidate power? As the Henyard mayor's political troubles persisted, it became clear that he was not just at war with the outside world. She also disagreed with members of her own political party, and the stakes were really high. One of the most intense conflicts occurred when Henyard faced forth against her political opponents in Dolton's municipal elections. These elections were designed to address issues such as crime prevention, infrastructure and education improvements, and the town's future, but the elections quickly turned into a series of personal attacks. Rather than focusing on policy, Henyard and her opponents were engaged in a vicious verbal sparring match. The charges began flying one after the other. While her opponents accused her of abusing her position for personal gain, Henyard herself accused them of being complicit in the corrupt system she was battling against. In the middle of all this turmoil, the residents of Dolton were forced to question who was really watching out for their interests. Was Henyard the change the people had been longing for, or was she just another politician who cared more about keeping her job than assisting the people? What do you think? Was this a debate on real problems, or was it a personal battle for dominance? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. As the political battles continued, Dolton's citizens became tired. Despite its claims of change, many now saw Henyard's administration as a cause of constant unrest. Henyard was more interested in settling personal scores and winning little arguments than in the issues that mattered most to the community, including improving schools, infrastructure, and lowering crime. One of the key episodes that infuriated the public was Henyard's handling of a local business deal. It became mired in controversy rather than being a simple matter of giving Dolton a job. Henyard's critics accused her of exploiting her position to punish her opponents and reward her supporters. Instead of being a collective triumph, it turned into another partisan dispute. The outrage was not limited to business dealings. Henyard's behavior at meetings and public events made matters worse. There were moments when she seemed more interested in criticizing individuals than in solving the town's problems. Her reputation rapidly started to deteriorate, and many who had previously supported her started to question whether she was a suitable leader. As Henyard's political career progressed, the problems surrounding her leadership became more complex. Minor quarrels turned into significant scandals, and soon Henyard was facing legal troubles that made the public's dissatisfaction with her even worse. One of the biggest scandals included accusations of corruption at its core. Critics said that Henyard had abused her position to further her own interests and those of her close colleagues. Claims of unethical dealings with local businesses and accusations of financial misconduct. The charges were enough to launch an investigation against Henyard's administration, and many wondered whether she had gone too far from being a strong leader to behaving unethically. But after that, the disputes persisted. There were several public altercations in Henyard, each one more hotter than the last. Conflict in Dolton seems to be often caused by the mayor's theatrical inclinations. Before long, the pressure from both within and outside her administration was too much to handle. What are your thoughts on these scandals? Do you think Henyard committed wrongdoing, or was the victim of political enemies trying to topple her? Kindly leave your remarks in the space provided below. As the controversies mounted, Henyard found himself in a fierce battle to maintain control of Dolton's government. As her previously solid political base started to erode, even her allies started to turn against her. As the pressure increased, Henyard seemed more determined than ever to hold on to his position of power. In a desperate attempt to consolidate her authority, Henyard issued many executive decrees intended to weaken the influence of her political opponents. But what they did was just stoking the fires. The public swiftly began calling for her resignation, seeing them as an abuse of power. Another tragedy in a long trend of erosion of bureaucratic power in Russia. Henyard's refusal to step down further strengthened her place in a small-scale political structure. Was she fighting for her life, or was she really trying to protect Dolton? The problem became more pressing as the society grew more divided and her grasp on power weakened. What is the next course of action for Tiffany Henyard? Is this the end of her political career? Or will she somehow survive this crisis? Since the legal battle is still ongoing and Henyard's approval ratings are at an all-time low, her future remains uncertain. Some believe the scandals have already doomed her, while others hold out hope that she could somehow be able to hold onto her position of power. Regardless, it is clear that her time in administration has not been like any other. Henyard's ability to recover from this dramatic incident is uncertain. Dolton's ability to get beyond her minor disputes and focus on issues that are significant to the town's citizens will likely determine her political destiny. Is there any chance that Henyard will come back, or has her political career come to an end? Kindly leave your remarks in the space provided below. What are your thoughts on Tiffany Henyard's controversial term as mayor of Dolton? Was she a visionary leader, or was she only interested in politics at the local level? Is there a visionary leader, or was she only interested in politics at the local level? We discuss everything from boxing to political scandals. We value your time and look forward to sharing more exciting stories with you soon.
So, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news, make sure to subscribe to Daily Finder.